Welcome back to another episode of Kansas Cougar Football Talk. I'm your coach, Darrell Nave, and you're watching Pit Talk. Well, Nation, we've been away for a little while. We were gearing up for our tryouts. We had a lot of things working right now, trying to prepare for our championship run this coming up season. But we're back, and we got a lot of stuff to cover right now. I'm joined again by Mr. Wash. Mr. Wash is joining me today. We're going to go over some stuff that's happened since we've been away from the show. We're also going to cover between both leagues. We're going to do something a little new. We're going to also include the CFL today. We're going to figure out where we think the rankings should be and what the rankings are right now. Mr. Wash, I'm glad to have you back for the third time. Man.
Yes, sir.
Seems like you're becoming a regular on the show now.
I guess so. But that's what we do, is try to make sure everything is right.
All right. Well, like I said, this is going to be an awesome show because this is going to be strictly talking about where we're at as far as two leagues for semi-pro football. Well, let's get right into it, man. I mean, since we've had our tryouts, the Kansas Cougars been looking, in my eyes, been looking really good. Give me a little bit of observation that you've got and where you see this going right now since tryouts and the fellas is on the team.
Man, just looking at the team, the way it's building right now with the new guys coming in, young guys, hungry guys, mixed with several of our returners, we're looking pretty good. Most of the time I normally downplay it a little bit, but I think this team is going to be ready. I think throughout the past 10 years, this is probably one of the best teams we ever had, just with attitude, dedication, and hard work.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm out there, when I'm working with the guys, I'm seeing a lot of guys that are really hungry. Those young guys are really wanting a piece of what we accomplished this past season. And I see nothing but, big things coming for us in this next season to come with the XFL. And speaking of league play, XFL has gotten stronger. We're 7 teams deep right now in the XFL with some newcomers who we're going to name later. And the CFL has actually got stronger with some entries from the XFL. If you don't mind, name some of the teams that's in the CFL, where you see them ranked at and where they have them ranked, and kind of give me what's going on in that league, because I'm a little naive to what's happening amongst our leagues. I'm completely focused on our team, the Cougars, right now. So I want to know how is that panning out over there with that
Well,
league.
I tell you what, just to research yourself, looking at the Central Football League, which is known as the CFL, they looking really good. They got some top teams. Joplin leading the way, of course. They won a national championship 2 years ago. Went back to the national championship and lost. So, of course, they'll be number one in the CFL, be the team to beat. And then crossing over from the XFL, you got the Oklahoma Nightmare, who lost to the Kansas Cougars in the 2015 championship, which is going to be a good matchup in the CFL. I think they do very, very well. And then you got the Arkansas Battle that the CFL got at number 3. I think that's a good team. We watched them in a bowl game down in Ark City, a good-looking team. And then following up, Enid. Of course, with us, Enid is a rival. Enid is a good team. They come ready to play. Big boys. I think that 4th seed is well suited. And then River Valley, who we don't know much about, but they got video of a running back that was MVP of the CFL, and he looks like he's everything they say he is. And then you get to the Desperados, another team that came from the XFL that went to the CFL, that actually beat us by 1 point down in Tulsa. I think that's going to be a good team. And then Queen City, which is another team we don't know much about, but I can't speak much on them. But I know we played the Arkansas Guardians, who is sitting at number 8. That looked pretty good. And then Phoenix, a team that we beat, that's also in the top 10 in the CFL, and then the Kansas City Saints. So before it all plays out, I think the sleeper in the league that's in the league but not in the top 10 is the Elite, the Oklahoma Elite. Right. I think that's the team that's going to shock the CFL and end up probably in the top 3, if not compete with Joplin. Let's see how this turns out.
It sounds like it's going to be an exciting league over in the CFL. I know from personal experience coaching against the Elite, which is your dark horse, they have geared up, and from what I've read and what I've been seeing, what they're doing, they are going to be a team to be reckoned with within the CFL. And as far as like the Nightmare, I mean, obviously, when we played them, they gave us fits all the way up into the last quarter. If it wasn't for a couple of balls bouncing our way, who know how that would have turned out. And the Desperados, who obviously gave us one of our losses on the season, they've always going to be a tough team because I believe they're well coached. Again, CFL is going to have an awesome season coming up. I think that if you're not tuned in with the XFL, another good league to tune into and follow is going to be the CFL. We got lot of stuff to cover with our league because this is where our main focus is. When we get back, we're going to delve into how the XFL is panning out, your picks of where they're ranked at, and then what you think is going to be the outcome. And I'll be tuned back in with Mr. Wash when we return.
Dad?
Dad?
Dad.
And we are back. Well, before we go any further, I would like to wish the nation, Cougar Nation, a happy Thanksgiving. I know it's a little late, but we want to make sure that everyone has safe travels and spent time well spent with their family. Big thing with us is we're all about family. Family always comes first. And so I want to make sure that everyone had a great holiday. But getting back into the football, now that we returned, we want to get into a little bit about the XFL. The XFL is panning out to be, like I said, probably one of the biggest and most exciting seasons for the XFL. I got Mr. Wash here. We're going to have him break down some numbers on what he's seeing in the XFL. We're going to have him rank them for me real quick, and then we're going to get into where we see things going and how we're going to grow this league into a bigger spectrum. Mr. Wash, you got your paper out. I got my paper out. Starting from the bottom, give me a list of the players in their ranking going from worst to the top.
What I like to look at is look at how many years a team got invested, look at their history, and then a little bit of word of mouth, okay? So at number 7 in the XFL, I'm looking at the Yukon Bobcats, a new team, a first-year team. Hopefully they can build and be a dominant team, just like any other team. And then at number 6, I got the Rose Hill Zombies, who are going on their 3rd year in semi-pro football. I think with them it depends on travel, it depends on commitment. You look at the Ponca City Bulldogs, who fell off last year, but with Mike Hilbert, that team, you just never know what you're going to get. They can go from the bottom to the top in a matter of 2 games. It just depends on who's ready to go, and you can't go to sleep on them. The Southside Bulls, these guys have been getting a little action in already in the cold. It sounds like they're coming along. Just teams that far off in Oklahoma, I just feel like it's going to be a pretty decent team. Then when you get to the Oklahoma Chargers, that's the team to me that play year-round, got a lot of connections, a tough ball club. It just depends on if the key players there, a couple of the key players is there to make the difference between a 7-point game and a 1-point game. And then the Monarchs coming out of Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, that area. I just got to give Tulsa a lot of respect. Most of the time a team coming out of Tulsa, Oklahoma is pretty decent. A lot of athletes, and it comes flat out down to coaching. And then us, the Kansas Cougars at number 1, of course, we'll be the defending champions. A strong history of 10 years. 2-time defending champions of the Central Football League. Now defending champions of the XFL. Put us at number 1. And of course, we still got to come to play week in and week out. This is just preseason. We got to take it 1 week at a time, and that's for every team in the league. I look for the league to be extremely competitive, just like the CFL, and I look forward to the Championship Bowl series between the leagues at the end of the season.
Like those rankings. I'm looking at my notes right here, and I think we got pretty much on the same page here. Starting from me here, I got the UConn Bobcats ranked number 7, and that's just solely based on the fact that we don't know a lot about the Bobcats. They're a pretty new team. Coming in number 6 for me is the Rose Hill Zombies, and what I'm getting from them is, like I said, this their 3rd year. We played them in a scrimmage before, and they kind of got the upper hand on us there. So you don't really know where these are going to lay. That's why I really like about the XFL, because everybody is extremely competitive. For Mike and myself, Ponca City, and why I have them ranked 5th is that, again, that they're well coached. They're going to come to play, whether they got 15 guys or if they got 40 guys. They're going to come and give you a ball game day in and day out. Coming from you, number 4, again, is the Southside Bulls. Southside Bulls actually have a game coming up on the 19th of this month, and I believe they played last month before, so they've already got their season rolling. So they're going to come in kind of already gelled compared to some other teams in the league. So that's why I have them number 4. And number 3, like you said, the Chargers. Chargers will play anybody, anywhere. They can put together a team the blink of an eye and meet you at your backyard and give you a dogfight to the last whistle's blown. The Monarchs, the Tulsa area is loaded with talent. They got guys, coming from everywhere. Tulsa seems to always have a team every year that's, at the top, because they got some other guys coming out of like the GDFL players playing some of those leagues, and so I think they're doing a good job there recruiting, and I believe they're going to be probably one of our tough competitors in the 2016 season. And then again, it's Kansas Cougars number 1. I'm being a little biased because I am the coach, but I think that we have a nucleus of guys in our back scenes at practice that we're going to come to play, and it's going to be tough, really tough, to beat the Kansas Cougars. Now, moving on to some other things here, because we got our rankings. We got all that played out. The XFL is growing. What do you see to come with the XFL? Where do you see this in the next 3 to 4, even to 5 years from now?
I look at the XFL that in the next 3, 4, 5 years from now that we'll probably maximize about 12 teams, and I try to minimize to about probably 3, no more than 3.5 hours. And that's the biggest thing I like about the XFL, is because it economically makes sense for semi-pro football, and that's what I look at, what makes sense for what we're trying to do. So I'm looking at us to be about 12 teams, just a strong, steady league, a competitive league, which when you look at the schedule, that, hey, you don't know from the 1 seat to who's at the bottom that's going to win this championship in the XFL. And even if you go back in the past 2 years of the history of the XFL, you still didn't know who was going to be the champion until that game was played.
All right, and like you said, it makes sense. Two lines, sense to play in the XFL. Moving on to some other things here, another topic that I want to get into with you is a little bit about some of the backing for the Kansas Cougars. There's a lot of people that have kind of jumped on board and is helping us out. If you're part of the Cougars Nation, we really appreciate you guys. If you're following us on Twitter or on our Facebook, but if you look on there, we're getting a lot of hits and a lot of things are starting to come together for the team. What do you credit that to? Where do you see? Why are people starting to now know the Kansas Cougar brand?
Well, I like to look at, I think, number one, bringing in yourself, bringing in Coach Darrell Radcliffe, bringing in a whole new coaching staff, and just looking at this thing and pushing the players harder to get out in the community and speak upon what this program is all about. And it's more than football. It's about fatherhood initiative. It's about finding a job. It's about being a functioning person in the community, and just out talking to people. And then our sponsors are stepping in and helping out. They are starting to buy into our motto, and everything is really starting to blossom right now. And we just want to continue that. And we want to say thank you to all our sponsors, and thank you to the fans that are following us right now. And hopefully that fan base will grow. And we really appreciate it, because with the Kansas Cougars, it's truly a family away from home, and it's really about what can we do for our young men to grow and prosper and be a functioning person in the society that we live in.
That is definitely a great praise, and I appreciate you bringing me on and giving me this opportunity. I'm going to try my best to continue to give 110% to this program. You hit on the Father Initiative. There's some things coming in works. We have some dates coming up, and that's going to be a big thing, because every week that we do this show, we talk about being a father. Because if you're not being a father, you're not being making those steps in growth, then you're not really using the program what we made it for. Tell me a little bit about this event that we got working right now. Go into some depth on a little bit how that's going to play out.
So what we have done, we worked out a partnership with Mental Health Association, MHA, with their Fatherhood Initiative program. So we're going to have actually on February 21st, we're going to sell catfish. We're going to do a Fatherhood Initiative drive to try to bring awareness to our fathers and to the communities that programs like this do exist, to help our young men understand what life is all about, to be responsible for their children, to be responsible as a man, to hold a full-time job, and not just a job, but work on their career.
Perfect. And again, that, like I said, that's the number one thing about being a Kansas Cougar football player, because we don't really always focus on football. The main part is about taking those steps into becoming a man. I remember posting this just the other day on one of our players. Progress and growth is the two ingredients of making a man, and I believe that is whole weight true of how we become better as a community and grow as people. We're going to close this out right now. I do want to make sure that we hit on a few things. There's some groups out there and some companies that I want to make sure that we give some shout outs to. We want to start with the Matrix Center, the ABC Health Group. They've been a huge backer of ours. They've done a lot of stuff for our program. Also, we want to give a big thank you to Combine Insurance. They are definitely been on board for the last few years, and they really gave a very healthy contribution to helping our team get to the financial place where we are right now. Also, some other groups that just jumped on. We have ICT Dents with Fernando. There's no dent that he can't get out. He specializes in hail repair. Also, there's also Crossroads, where we'll be spending a lot of time after our games. Crossroads Bar and Grill. Our last sponsor that I want to make sure we focus on is Mojo's Bar and Grill. That's where you're going to be able to come join the Cougars and party after our victories at every home game. Just believe we're going to win every home game. In conclusion to that, make sure that you follow us on Facebook at Kansas Cougars Football. Hit us up on Twitter at Kansas Cougars _1. Also, you want to make sure that you are liking us on our Facebook page, joining us on our app that you can get us at. You can get that at your Google Play Store, or you can also find it on our Facebook, and has a link where you can save it to your home page. Well, we're just about out of time. I think I've said all I can say. I've used up all of our owner's time. I know he's got a lot of stuff. He's a busy man. We got to get him back, making sure the team's up and running. Mr. Wash, pleasure. It's always a pleasure, man, having you on my couch. Till next time, see you then.